Middle School, Dr. Z here with your next installment of Executive Functioning Skills. And today we're going to talk about self-monitoring and self-awareness. And I know what you're thinking, why do we have to go through this again? You hear this all the time from your teachers, right? Check your work, use your checklist, let's reflect on this assignment. Why is this important? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Why are self-monitoring and self-awareness part of executive functioning? And why are these important skills? And the bottom line is, without self-awareness and self-monitoring, we would never be able to progress and improve. We would not have realistic goals. We would not be able to reach those goals. And then you'd grow up to be clueless human beings. And we've seen these adults who have no idea what's going on around them and have no self-awareness of themselves. And you know what? You're not going to be that guy. So we're going to look at this today. What's the difference between self-monitoring and self-awareness? Basically, self-monitoring is in the moment. So if you're working on a task, if you're completing a project, whatever it is that you're doing at that time, self-monitoring is the ability for you to stop, assess what's going on, and be able to change directions if needed. In other words, I can stop an activity midway and see, how am I doing? Am I okay on time? Am I understanding what am I doing? Do I need further supplies? Am I getting frustrated? All of those things play a role in self-monitoring. And so it helps us track our progress as we're completing a task. Now, self-regulation in terms of emotions is hard during this time because if you're not understanding a task at hand, that's where frustration creeps in and you might shut down. So the ability to be aware and figure out that I can get frustrated really easily if I don't understand something means that I need to have a way to be able to deal with that, right? Can I stop, take a step back, take a breath, cool down to be able to move forward? And maybe I have to scratch what I've been doing so far and start all over again and be able to do that and still continue on with my work. So self-monitoring, just like self-awareness, takes practice. Nobody is born with these executive functioning skills. They need to be developed, and you need to develop them by actually practicing them. And that's where checklists come in. Checklists are important in self-monitoring because it helps us be able to specifically take a look at each step and see where we are on this task progression. And let's face it, checklists are great because nothing feels better than being able to scratch something off your list and have your list go smaller. It's just so satisfying. Now, self-monitoring can be really hard because if we think about it, it takes all of the other executive functioning skills. It involves working memory because you need to know what the expectations are to be able to complete the task. You need to know how you're matching up to whatever it is you need to do, right? Where those rubrics come in. Am I meeting all of those expectations? It includes time management because you need to keep track of your time and how much time you're using to complete this task. Are you going to meet your deadline? Planning and organization, especially if it's a long-term project or a long-term task, you need to be able to plan and organize each of your steps, right? It needs to regulate your emotions because you have to keep check if you're getting frustrated, if you're feeling that you are just not able to move on because you're getting this mental block because you're so upset about it. So all of these emotions and all of these other types of executive functioning skills all play a role in self-monitoring. So it really is a difficult skill to accomplish, and that's why it takes practice. And it's one that you're going to start to develop now. And like we talked about in the first episode, you're not going to actually be able to get to your max executive functioning skills until your early 20s, right? And that includes your idea of self-monitoring and self-reflection. So what are some strategies to help you self-monitor? You need to know what your expectations are. And that's why when teachers give you rubrics or directions or anything, it's really important to go through those and highlight or identify what are the things that I need to do. What are your expectations or what are your objectives that need to get done? Creating checklists. And sometimes teachers give you a checklist already. Or if not, just being able to stop and create the checklist of your own of things that you know you need to do in order to accomplish a task. Creating a schedule for yourself. It's something that's long-term. Asking questions. If you're not sure about something, you want clarification, it's important to ask questions because only that way can you have accurate checklists. Being able to pause and evaluate while you're completing tasks and projects. That's the key to self-monitoring. And so being able to build that in, remembering to stop and assess what you're doing, where you are at that moment to see what you have left, and always keeping track of time, right? Starting to manage that time, building chunks of time. Perhaps you want to schedule it in ways that you know you're working from this time to this time. You're dedicating specifically to this specific task. And that's going to help you be able to monitor how long you might take in certain things. So that leads us into self-awareness, right? The difference between self-monitoring and self-awareness is really kind of the timescape that we're looking at. Self-monitoring involves something specific that's happening at that time, whether it's a task or a project. Self-awareness is being able to look back in a longer period of time and begin to understand yourself better. So to be able to be aware of yourself requires self-reflection, and that's where self-reflection comes in. If we don't understand ourselves, then we're going to struggle to work efficiently. We're going to struggle to be able to adopt new strategies when we have new challenges to face. So it's really important to be able to know ourselves. And sometimes that's hard because that means that we have to also know our weaknesses. Not only our strengths and what we're good at, but we need to know what we struggle with and what we need improvement with. And that's why feedback, especially when feedback is given either by your teachers or your peers, but it's important to go back and read your feedback and take that in and really apply it, because it's the only way you're going to progress. So self-reflection is the key to self-awareness, and that takes practice. So why would we bother with self-reflection? And the reason really is this: it's the only way to make progress. When you're able to reflect on your work, you can't help but move yourself forward, right? When you can see your mistakes and improve on them, when you can celebrate your successes and increase those successes, that's how you make progress. You're able to inspire yourself and others, right? When you reflect, you inspire yourself and probably even others. It keeps yourself on your toes. You can see how far you come each day. And as you make progress, you can certainly be an inspiration to others around you who might be struggling with the same thing. And it's empowering. When you self-reflect and you progress, it's on your terms. You're in the driver's seat because you're setting your goals, you're making those improvements, and you're then becoming more talented, having more successes, and you are able to then deal with those weaknesses and those failures. And you move forward because you want to, and you do it the way that you want to. So that's the importance of self-reflection. So what we're going to be doing now is taking a chance to reflect and build that self-awareness by reflecting on this first quarter, right? Let's look back and see what we've done right, see what we can improve on, what were our successes, what were our failures, what can help us move forward. And with that, we can set some goals for ourselves for this next quarter coming up. And these goals really don't have to be something grandiose. Let's keep them realistic. It can be small goals, but you're specific and you have an intention of actually doing something about it. So I've provided some self-reflection questions that you're going to be looking at to help you be able to reflect on this past quarter. So take a look at your academic performance this past quarter. We've included some reflection questions for you to help you on your way. And then you're going to go ahead and write yourself an email, right? Write yourself an email about what you did well this quarter, what were some improvements you can see, and setting some goals, no more than 2 or 3, and something specific that you have for this next quarter that you want to improve on. And you're going to send this email to yourself and copy your champion, but you're going to schedule send it. So you're not going to actually receive it until November 18th. And this will give you some time that the second quarter has started, and you can then go back and see if you really have done something to try and change and reach these goals that you've set yourself for this next upcoming quarter. Don't know how to schedule send? Not a problem. There's going to be a graphic that you can click on right here to be able to see it. But in the meantime, you can schedule send really easily when you're in your email. Once you've composed your email, instead of clicking on send down here in the bottom, you're going to click on the drop down menu, and that's going to give you the option to schedule send, and then you can send it for the specific date and time that you want to receive your email. And in this case, it's going to be November 18th, right before our Thanksgiving break. You've had a few weeks into the second quarter, and you can stop and pause and self-monitor to see what's going on in the second quarter, and if you really have tried to reach these new goals that you've set for yourself. All right, so thanks for watching. Until next time.